If you have a Premier Chocolate Refiner Melanger and wondering if you can use it to make nut butters, start with roasted nuts. I'm using roasted salted peanuts here. If you're going to use unsalted nuts, you will need to add salt in later. If you are starting with raw nuts, you can toast them in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. We want to chop up the peanuts before putting it in the melanger. This shortens the time you'll need to run the machine and also prevents unnecessary wear and tear. Here I am using a RoboCoupe to get a chop I want. You can also use a food processor and pulse a few times. Be careful you don't process them too much because it can form a paste, having the oil and protein separate. We want to keep an emulsion because it's harder to reverse that. A quick tip here is to freeze your nuts for 30 minutes before processing them. When the nuts heat up from overprocessing, it can lead to separation. So freezing them beforehand gives you a temperature buffer. Running the melanger. Your melanger should be clean, set up, and ready to run. Add about half of the chopped nuts to the melanger. Generally, you should try not to run this machine with nothing in it because it can wear down the stones quicker. Turn the melanger on and add the rest of the chopped nuts. I'm going to run this for about 2 hours. Periodically, I will check in and give the sides a scrape if there are bits stuck to the sides and center gears. Now obviously, if you prefer a bit of a chunkier nut butter, you can process it less. Or what I recommend is to make a smooth nut butter and add an additional chopped nuts of the size of your choosing. This is what it looks like after 2 hours. Removing the butter from melanger. Stop the machine and remove the center insert. Scrape down the pieces as much as you can with the spatula. You won't get all of it, just try to get as much as you can. Then take the bowl off the motor and scrape the insides into a large bowl. Adjusting the butter. Now we're going to make some adjustments to our nut butter. First, taste it and adjust for salt. It may be salty enough if you started with salty nuts, or you can add some salt, 1 pinch at a time, until you're happy with it. There is a high fat content to most nuts. Because of that, it has a tendency to separate. Also at this stage, nut butter is very liquidy. We're going to address both those things. Add 1 teaspoon of cold water at a time and whisk quickly after each addition. You will see the mixture slightly thicken after each round. I added about 3 teaspoons of water here, but it's up to you. The water helps the butter form a stronger emulsion, so this thickens and helps prevent separation. After a while in the fridge, there is a chance it will still separate, because emulsion is a physical and not chemical state. In that case, just take a whisk and mix everything together. Next, we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar. This will dissolve in the butter, so don't worry if it's a little lumpy. You can add more sugar if you like. I found a tablespoon replicates the sweetness of most supermarket peanut butters. If you're thinking about getting this Premier Chocolate Refiner Melanger, check out this next video